Hey guys, this is the hike to Horseshoe Mesa, which is right there on the Grandview Trail. Now, unlike Bright Angel and South Kaibab, this is not a maintained trail. It's really primitive. It was actually built in the 1890s to come here, which was the site of the Last Chance mine. So it was a mining trail, but despite being over 100 years old, the trail is in pretty good condition. The one thing about it, it's very, very steep. It's about 6 miles round trip, about 2,500 feet of climbing, and it's steep. And there are some level parts, but even on the level parts, it's really rocky, so it's hard to get your footing. So I'd only recommend this for experienced hikers. If you're just kind of a casual hiker, do another hike. But if you're used to hiking in kind of these types of conditions and trails that are a little rough around the edges, this is a fun one. At the end, you get here. Here's the old mine. You can still see some metal remnants in there. And then, of course, you have to go back up after you've come down here. So we're going way back up there to Grandview, which is a nice little vista point. So if you want to do the hike, just go to HikingGuy.com, and I have all the maps, directions, everything you need to know to do the hike. But otherwise, you can watch these turn-by-turn directions and see how to do it.
We're going to start at Grandview Point, and there's plenty of parking. The lot up front, there's always people coming and going, so you could park there. And if you're going to go overnight, you can do this as a camping trip too, and I have information on the website for that. You park in the lot a little bit back from there. But from the lot, you go through this little paved area here and kind of bear to the right. And here you're going to see a sign that tells you about the Grandview Trail. And this is where the trailhead is, the actual trailhead. And you're going to go straight through here. It's easy to follow. There are usually a lot of tourists kind of going off down the trail to get some nice pictures like you just saw there. But after about 5 minutes, you should pass through all the crowds. And that's about it. You know, in the off season, I've done this and I've never even seen another soul on the trail. So it's definitely not a popular trail compared to trails like Bright Angel or South Kaibab. And you can see here the trail's pretty primitive. You get nice views, obviously, but it goes down the cliffside. If you look in the walls, you'll see holes where they blasted the walls out. It's about 18 inches at its narrowest. There's never a point where you have to put your back up against a cliff and kind of walk along it, but it is more narrow than other trails that are maintained more like Kaibab or Bright Angel. You can see here there are some stairs that the Park Service put in after some floods in 2005, some more recent, but this gives you a good idea of the condition of the trail when it's not cobblestone. And I have a section on the blog on the website that explains all the different things to look for on the trail, including the cobblestones and the log cribbing. It's definitely an engineering marvel. And there's a kind of a regular section here. There's about 30 or so switchbacks as you go down. And eventually you're going to come to the sandstone cobblestones. This is kind of what this trail is famous for, and you can see them here. Now, I didn't shoot a lot of them. There's a lot of these sections here. It's hard to walk on them and shoot the camera at the same time, so I recommend bringing trekking poles. They help on here, but this gives you a good example of what the cobblestone sections look like here. Eventually you're going to get to the saddle here, and there's some nice views off to the east, which is there, and the west on the other side. It's usually pretty breezy here because the wind whips up through the canyon, but the trail goes down to the left here on the west side. And you're going to follow it down. There's another couple sections of steep cobblestones, and there's one section that's probably the most sketchy out of the whole hike, which is right here. It looks like it had been recently washed out, but it always seems to look like this. I've done this hike a bunch of times. Again, if you have trekking poles and good boots, it's good. Don't try to pass somebody here. But this is it in terms of the sketchiness. Now, after this, you're going to reach the kind of section that goes down to Horseshoe Mesa that goes along the ridge line. You can see you're going to go down there. Horseshoe Mesa's up in the distance. Now, on paper, this looks pretty level and cruisy, but there's a lot of little ups and downs and boulders, and it's kind of slow going. In fact, this is the one trail, because of the conditions, you probably will descend slower than you climb. It's a tough trail, and it requires you to focus on your footing and pay attention to the trail all the time. But luckily, when you pass through this section, it levels out. You get a break, and it will be welcomed. And you'll see Horseshoe Mesa in the distance there as you approach. Then you're going to come to the intersection for Page Spring and Hants Creek, which will be down to your right. You'll also see some signs letting you know that there's a radioactive area. It's actually the rocks and soil here that are radioactive. That's not like a mining thing or anything. But you're going to continue on to the left. If you do want water, it's a steep walk down to the spring, just a heads up, and I'll talk about that on the website if you go there. But otherwise, keep going straight. And then shortly after that, you're going to pass the intersection for Cottonwood Creek, which will be down to your left, not to be confused with Cottonwood Campground, which is in the North Kaibab Trail. But we're going to go straight here up to the Horseshoe Mesa area. And when you get up to the mesa, there's a few campgrounds. There's a primitive toilet. And there's some remains of the old Last Chance mine, including the old cookhouse, which is here. And you will see rusty gear and stuff on the ground. This is actually part of the historic register, and all of these things are considered artifacts, and you can't take anything or touch anything. Now, if you want to explore, you can walk around the mesa. There's some use trails around here, but otherwise you just go back up the way you came, and you do your suffering, and that's the hike.
So that's the hike. It's a neat one, but it's a leg buster going back uphill, so make sure you're prepared. If you want to do the hike, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have a link to the full hiking guide in the description underneath the video, so please click on that and check it out. And if you are on YouTube, if you could click that little thumbs up, that will help other people find the video and hopefully do the hike safely. Also, if you want to do some other hikes in the Grand Canyon, maybe ones that aren't as tough, you can go to HikingGuy.com, where I have a bunch of them there. And you can do anything from a short flat hike to something like this that's a little more challenging. So have fun, and see you out there.